Am I the asshole for asking if my daughter-in-law fell when I heard of her miscarriage? TW pregnancy loss. My son announced his wife's pregnancy at 8 weeks after hearing the heartbeat. Unfortunately, she had a miscarriage around 10 weeks. When my son called me on the phone, I was so shocked that I just blurted out, "Why did she fall?" She did not fall. By the way, I didn't realize I was on speakers during that call and my daughter-in-law overheard my reaction. When she got pregnant again, they didn't announce until well into the second trimester, due to my daughter-in-law ending in a very unexpected C-section. My son requested my help to come over. I cooked, cleaned, did laundry for them, washed the baby, etc. Despite all my hard work, she was still very cold towards me and treated me rather poorly. I finally asked her why and she admitted that she was furious when I sounded very blaming when I asked if she fell. That's why her previous pregnancy ended in a miscarriage. I told her that I asked if she fell not to blame her in any sense but out of concern for her. I said that I am aware there are other reasons that miscarriages occur as members of my immediate family have suffered the same. I was very sad to hear the news. All of us were so happy, excited about her first pregnancy, then next day heard the sad news. We all called to speak to her directly and see how she was but were told she was not ready to speak. We tried to give the space and time she needed for the situation. I don't think she believed me though. Am I the asshole for asking if my daughter-in-law fell? That's why she had a miscarriage. Edit. I now see that I was acting like the passageway of excrement. I guess I now understand why I was never invited again to their house to see my other newborn grandkids after that. They only introduced their new babies when each turned over half a year old. I don't think I will apologize regarding the fall comment since the first birth happened 7 years ago and it's just weird if I suddenly bring the topic now that they have a new baby again. I might be accused of pandering like my daughter-in-law has accused me of gift bombing previously. Thanks everyone for the wake-up call. Edit 2. My son did his best to be there for his wife for 2 weeks. 1 week was the baby and mom inside the hospital due to complications. My son just then started a new job and couldn't take longer days off, so I volunteered to stay a bit more when he had to go back to work. I think I'm sorry. I just blurted it out. It was thoughtless. I know nothing was your fault. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to make you feel worse. Would have gone long way to smoothing things over. Have you actually sincerely apologized and accepted responsibility for your words yet? It sounds like your primary concern in the conversation was avoiding blame. It doesn't matter what your reasoning or intention was. You did something that saw hurtful to someone that was grieving. If you really care about her, acknowledge that you caused her pain that you didn't intend and apologize for it. The estimate is that more than 25% of pregnancies miscarry. There doesn't have to be a reason or event. It can just be a non-viable pregnancy. Now that you know this, you can refrain in future from trying to pin down a reason, lessening the danger of making an already grieving person feel blamed. I mean, that's a pretty tone-deaf thing to say right when learning the news. You could have asked if she was okay or something. You know, like a person. YTA. This is one of those situations where you need to tuck your tail and profusely apologize. Not because you had any bad intentions, but because this situation is so painful that it just doesn't matter. Pride doesn't have a place here. Don't make excuses, don't apologize through your son, speak to her directly. Genuinely and lovingly. I am sorry I said something hurtful during a terrible time in your life and there is nothing I can do to reverse that stupid remark. Just please know I realize how insensitive it was and wish I could. Info: why was your first assumption that she fell? You're the asshole. You were told she miscarried and your first words were why. Here is a tip for you. When someone gives you some big news, traumatic news, something obviously huge in their lives, it is perfectly acceptable and preferable to take a small deep breath and small pause. This is where you think about what to say instead of spewing out the first thing that pops into your head. You're the asshole. Miscarriages happen a lot more than people realize due to a variety of things. Not just from something physical. When you asked if she fell, you basically put the blame on her like it was her fault. You could have asked anything other than that in that moment. Is she okay? Is there anything I could do to help? I'm so sorry would have been much better. Info: at any time. Such as after she told you why she was upset. Did you apologize to her for saying that? Something like, Dill, I am so sorry for what I said. I was shocked and upset and did not mean to imply you were at fault and will not say anything like that in the future. Question: have you ever actually apologized for that being your first reaction? If not, do so ASAP. Either way, you're the asshole for this being the very first question out of your mouth after hearing about her miscarriage. Maybe Mill has done something in the past and this was just the straw that broke the camel back. Just saying. I want to say nah. Your response was unhelpful to say the least, but it wasn't said out of spite. You also didn't know you were on loudspeaker, which suggests to me that if you did know your daughter-in-law was on the line, you may have reacted differently. But you do need to repair the damage with her. You need to accept that you hurt her feelings and that it is on you to make things right. You gave her a long explanation instead of the appropriate apology when she expressed how hurt, insulted she was by what you said. You still owe her an apology. You're the asshole. You don't need to know why anyone miscarried. Nor do you need to ask any questions at all. Just say you're sorry and ask how you can help. Yes. It's none of your damn business. Light: you're the asshole because it sounds like you had a big foot in mouth moment and are reasonably apologetic and didn't actually mean harm when asking that question, but sadly may have hurt your DIL's feelings in the process. Is there any chance of having a big heart-to-heart sit down and having a huge heartfelt apology, or do you feel that's long gone at this point? You're the asshole. Despite all my hard work, she was still very cold towards me and treated me rather poorly. Yay. Also, AYFKM with that take. Because that seems to show you just expect her to get over it because you did some chores. You said something that gutted her and seem more defensive than remorseful about it. You may not have intended to be hurtful, but wow. You stepped in it and you need to find the words to have a hard conversation and own up to it. Nah. A lot of pregnancies end in miscarriage during the first trimester. It's normal to be shocked and blurt out why when we hear shocking and painful news. I don't think we should be judged by how we react to hearing surprising and painful news. It is also very normal to feel a sense of ownership or fault when miscarrying. Just have a conversation about how you didn't mean to hint that it could have been her fault in any way, which it sounds like you did.